What was very popular in the 2020 pandemic but now it's pretty much dead. National parks being empty. We went to Yellowstone June 2020. It was fucking empty. The biggest crowd we had was at Old Faithful. I think there were 30 people all spread out with masks on just to be safe. It was glorious. We had Canyonlands to ourselves. We spent 6 hours there and didn't see a single other person or car. Badlands was the same. Did the Notch Trail in Sauna 01. I'm sure it's controversial that we visited national parks during COVID. I don't care. It was awesome, hoping that corporations would see the light about remote work and how it actually is possible to have employees quote-unquote dial it in and not have to have butts and seats for meetings that should just be an email or a PowerPoint instead of a whole conference room full of people reading a PowerPoint or having a PowerPoint read to them word for word with no added value if you have had to drive all the way there and all that shit just for bullshit. Live stream concerts. As an audio engineer, the live sound industry went kaput overnight and suddenly many bands' venues were scrambling for ideas on what to do. Many corporate offices were left nearly empty, unsure of how to run meetings. Many invested in pricey live streaming setups. Many of those setups are now unused or just used for a monthly Zoom meeting. Never seen momentum towards a technology swing one way and then another. Getting outside to walk the dogs, exercise, ride your bike, etc. In Melbourne at least, the streets were filled with people getting their 1 hour of exercise because that's all we were allowed. Now that we're back to normal, everyone's given up the daily walks, rides and runs, and we're all back to stressing about life and sad eating on the couch. Washing your hands. I see too many people not wash their hands anymore and act surprised when they get the cold or flu. Could have easily been avoided if you washed your hands like you did during the vid, but we don't care anymore cause we don't hear about the number of being dying from these things. If there's another pandemic, there better not be another lockdown. Lockdown did more damage to society and mental health than a few more deaths would have. I'd definitely rather die than endure that shit again. The world still hasn't gotten better. Zoom. It was advertised so heavily during the pandemic and quickly became the new Skype, but I think because of how much they charge to host meetings over an hour, people went back to cheaper video chat services. Wearing a mask if you are not feeling well. I am not wearing a mask because I am afraid of COVID, more so I feel like crap, maybe long COVID, maybe the common cold and I don't want to get anyone else sick. Zoom calls with friends and beer. Maybe it's too specific, but after pandemic, a lot of friends moved to suburbs, so we didn't meet up as often, but nobody wants to do Zoom call with a couple of brews. Meme wars. I remember being down in the trenches of Facebook pop culture shitposting groups. Dune Siege posting was my favorite. We fought with the low tier shitposters often. It was a fun, weird time, having a sense of superiority and smugly shitting on others while doing absolutely nothing but staying home. Also, that weird death cult sub-centered around Herman Cain. Can't believe it's still up. This is entirely anecdotal, but for a good year my entire friends list on Switch was playing Animal Crossing seemingly 24/7, and now I don't ever even see them playing anything on the Switch at all. Not Dead but as the board game publisher 2020 and 2021 I didn't cross any previous year, and while I'm not back at pre-COVID levels, people are for sure playing less board games, mostly party game decline. Peloton stock, Zoom stock, DocuSign stock. Basically anything that had an inflated business case that people thought would change the industry but then turned into a fad. I saw that one coming. Nurse hero worshipping. Not hating on nurses, but man did some egos inflate. My sister is a nurse and actually said to a police officer who pulled her over, "I'm a nurse, you know." Like everything else, once people got the social media cred for pretending to care about an issue, they stopped caring and went back to normal. Even though COVID itself isn't gone. Drive-in theaters. We had a blast going to drive-in movies during the pandemic. They were usually packed. Not too long ago the one closest to us went out of business. Sad. While I still hadn't gone to work, there was no traffic, and like at work no one was in a hurry to do anything. There wasn't any urgency, it seemed things went a different pace. No traffic in Rome, work alone in an empty building absurd, and after all the pandemic measure went away, a full remote job when everyone came back in office. Washing your hands after using the bathroom. I was in a men's room stall yesterday. 2 people used the urinal and walked out. No hand washing. No hand sanitizer. Just gross. Social distancing. People stayed away from me in the stores. Now they're back to breathing on my neck while in line because they don't believe in personal space. Home gyms. Weights on the aftermarket exploded in price, but after COVID passed, Prices returned to normal and a lot of people started selling their equipment. Coffee making. Like being a home brewers and fancying up your coffee corners at home by buying fancy brewing shit, ha 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 lol, everyone was a coffee aficionado. Watching DD streams. We had mild success once lockdown started. Our numbers today, and across the category in general, are much lower than 3 years ago. Paddle. Dozens of paddle courts halls were built in my country during pandemic and now most of them are either abandoned or being renovated as warehouses. Toilet paper, well, not dead obviously, but less popular because bidets have shot up and you don't have to worry about those idiot hoarders the next time. Storing a stack of COVID test kits that was at first hard to find and now I have some in every kitchen and bathroom cupboard for some reason. Celebrities sitting in their multi-million-dollar mansions singing together over Zoom and telling everyone we are all in this together. That's something people did by creating a caravan of drivers down a road and honking in front of a person's house whose birthday it is. Accidentally choking on your spit in Walmart and having to exclaim, "I do not have COVID-19, I have merely chalked on mine saliva." Committing fraud against the government by claiming unemployment benefits, even though you've never worked a day in your life. Empty highways, just having relaxing evening drives on with gas getting down to $1. 11 gallons for 87 octane in my area. Sourdough starter. Was easy when you were home all the time. Now people are back in buildings and forgot to feed it. People worrying about others when in reality they should just worry about themselves and mind their own business. COVID drive-by birthday parties, where friends and family drive in front of the birthday person's house and wave. The clean air, since car pollution was pretty much gone. Now that RTO is happening, the air is once again smoggy. Being praised for staying home. Now it's made out like you're killing the economy if you aren't out spending. Laundry stripping. Or maybe I just thought it was popular due to algorithms sending me mom-type content. Caring about other people lol, although in a lot of countries that wasn't very popular during 2020 either. Jackbox games over Zoom. It was religious every Saturday night and now I get laughed at if I suggest it. Having groceries delivered. A perk I really loved but now just can't justify spending the money on. Keeping a reasonable distance from other people. I miss people not trying to squeeze past my wheelchair. Are there unused air fryers and Instapots just getting dusty in other people's kitchens or just mine? So help me nobody better say sea shanties as I sit here at work listening to the longest Johns. Happiness and working on your hobbies. People gave up and went back to their useless work lives. The tropical houseplant boom is over for sure. Sourdough is back to being super niche as well. Homemade meals and home cooking. I wish I could go back to cooking my own food like I did. Imagining that WFH is here to stay and that boomers will let that happen without a fight. Face masks? Person shrugging. Although I do admit that they weren't so popular as much as a necessity. FTS getting scared over another person not using a mask and being disclosed to them. Peace. We'll change the current shit for what the pandemic was in a blink of an eye. Peloton. Their stock plummeted immediately when people could go back to the gym. Homemade cloth face masks for frontline healthcare workers, thank giddiness. Popular not really but cheaper gas in the job market was 10 times better. Staying and getting drink and watching too much TV. Now I'm a problem. Shipped in DoorDash. Relative to the pandemic, they're deader than dead. Those TikTok tight pants, and magnetic false eyelashes. DIY nail stuff. I lived in FL during COVID and my life literally didn't change at all. Overgrown children throwing tantrums over being asked to wear a mask. Having an opinion on masks even if you didn't have one at all before. This embroidery piece I made. Supporting small businesses. We all just went right back to Walmart. Adopting dogs, cats. The post-plague abandonment rate is appalling. Just 2 more weeks then flatten the curve. Stay home. Save lives. Musicians from around the globe collaborating on a musical piece. People not coughing on their freaking hands and touching stuff. The general population giving a shit about teachers and nurses. Decent drivers. Now everyone, at least in my area, is awful. Dizzy face. Dizzy, disappointed face. Gardening. It didn't work out. I couldn't even grow potatoes. Judging by how sick everyone is getting. Washing your hands, going to the grocery store without your whole damn family, leaving delivered packages in quarantine for a few days, forced termination for people refusing the vaccination, carrying vaccination proof just to get into restaurants. Remember everyone singing sea shanties lol, it was fun. No traffic. Now there's more than before the pandemic. Probably a lot of people's sourdough starter cultures, buying copious amounts of toilet paper just in case, baking bread at home. This needs to make a comeback. Enjoying your own life at home freely without guilt. Cheering for frontline workers at 7 p.m. Staying home.